The favorites to lift the trophy in 2024, highlights, Bayer Leverkusen, Marseille, Atalanta and Roma make up the 4 teams in the semi-finals of the Europa League. Bayer Leverkusen play Roma over 2 legs and are on course to complete a full unbeaten season. Xabi Alonso's side are now ranked as the favorites to win the Europa League for the 2023/2024 season. The Europa League knockout stages are well underway, and we now know which teams will face each other in the semi-finals in May 2024. Italian sides Atalanta and Roma both remain in the tournament and will face off against Marseille and Bayer Leverkusen respectively. It's been an intriguing Europa League campaign so far with several upsets. One of which was arguably Dutch giants Ajax exiting at the group stage due to a disastrous start to their season. All 3 English teams have now exited the tournament, with Roma dumping Brighton out in the round of 16 before Atlanta pulled off a shock victory over Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen survived a scare to dispose of West Ham in the quarter-finals. This article ranks the 4 teams left in the competition based on how likely they are to earn Europa League glory in 2024. We have used stats from SofaScore and FBref to help us create this ranking and have also considered such factors as how each team fared in their respective groups and any history of success in European competitions. Marseille, finished second in Europa League Group B. Marseille performed incredibly well in their Europa League group and were only denied top spot thanks to João Pedro's winner for Brighton 2 minutes from the end of their final game. Marseille had comfortably scored the most goals and created the most XG, but had to settle for second place in the group. The French side beat Shakhtar Donetsk in the round of 32 playoff, as their striker Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang became the competition's all-time record goalscorer, and a resounding 4-0 victory in the first leg against Villarreal. In the round of 16 was enough to see them through to the quarter-finals, where they triumphed over Benfica on penalties. Much of the French side's hopes will of course be dependent on how Aubameyang does. The former Arsenal star has quickly emerged as their fulcrum and spearhead up front, and Atlanta will no doubt be thinking that shackling him will go a long way to ensuring they keep Marseille quiet as a whole. Roma, finished second in Europa League Group G. Roma were expected to finish top of their Europa League group, but were instead left stunned by Slavia Prague, who beat them 2-0 in the Czech capital on their way to topping the group. In the time between the group stage wrapping up and the round of 32 playoff matches taking place, manager José Mourinho left the club and was replaced by club legend Daniele De Rossi. The loss of a veteran on the European stage for an inexperienced young manager has greatly slashed Roma's odds of pulling off a miracle in the competition that they finished runners-up in last season. It took penalties for them to knock Feyenoord out in the round of 32, but they made easy work of Brighton in the round of 16 before beating fellow Italian side AC Milan in the quarters. It has been quite the sensational resurgence since De Rossi took over the helm, and it is perhaps unfortunate that they will be coming up against Bayer Leverkusen in the semi-finals. Roma's form and consistency over recent weeks and months would have made them one of the favorites for the competition. But taking on the Bundesliga champions may now just be a step too far. Atlanta, finished first in Europa League Group D. Atlanta enjoyed an extremely impressive group stage of the competition and managed to overcome a high-flying Sporting Lisbon side before pulling off the shock of the tournament and winning 3-0 away at Anfield against Jurgen Klopp's side. Having endured an inconsistent Serie A campaign, their European journey has been a source of comfort for supporter. And the Italian side have stood out as one of the most impressive teams in the competition. They were good value for their automatic passage into the round of 16 as they avoided defeat in all 6 matches and generated more XG than any other team in the Europa League group stage. Atlanta have found themselves in good positions in European competitions before, including the quarter-finals of the Champions League, and their fans will be hoping 2024 is the year they can finally win some continental silverware. Facing Marseille in the semi-finals was arguably the easiest draw that any of the other sides could have hoped for. The Ligue 1 outfit find themselves well outside of the top 4 places in the French league, and have lacked some real consistency. Atlanta's victory over Liverpool in the last 8 was the most impressive win of any team in that stage of the competition, so they will be fancying their chances of knocking out Marseille and reaching the showpiece finale. Bayer Leverkusen, finished first in Europa League Group H. Xabi Alonso has been a revelation since being appointed head coach of Bayer Leverkusen in October 2022, and he has led the German side to their first-ever Bundesliga title. After they reached the semi-finals of the Europa League in 2022-23, they continued where they left off the following season, winning all 6 of their group matches as they scored 19 goals and conceded only 3. Leverkusen also created significantly more XG and big chances than any other teams in their group and finished a comfortable 8 points ahead of second-placed Karabag. SofaScore rates them as the strongest team in the competition based on their performances in the group stage, and as Alonso's stock as a manager continues to rise, there will be many tipping him to lead the German side to their first Europa League title since 1988 and potentially an invincible continental treble. It has been quite the remarkable season for Leverkusen. But a clash against an in-form and resilient AS Roma will test their credentials perhaps more than a lot of teams in the Bundesliga. Getting past Roma would be another significant feather in the cap of a burgeoning managerial career for Alonso, and set him and his side up nicely for a chance to win in the final against either Atlanta or Marseille.